Hey guys, this is Rurouni K95 here. Today I'm going to be doing a TV show review this time because we haven't done a TV show review like this in quite a while though. And this time this is going to be on 80s cartoons, something from Canada as well, for this review. So this is pretty much after what I haven't thought of doing one like this before, which is something after reviewing anime. So today we're going to be doing a review on an 80s cartoon that I genuinely love, because you can run with us, we've got everything you need. Run with us, we are free. The Raccoons. What can I say? This started, for those who do not know about this 80s cartoon called The Raccoons, I'm going to give you a little quick rundown on the Raccoons cartoon series. It started as a series of specials, like their first Christmas special, which is The Christmas Raccoons. If you haven't seen my review on The Christmas Raccoons, feel free to check it out. The link will be in the description down below, as well as the other remaining specials, such as The Raccoons on Ice and The Raccoons in the Lost Star. And they had that direct-to-music video special called The Raccoons Let's Dance. This series was created by Kevin Gillis, who has worked on many of his projects that are known in general, that's why. So, let's not waste any more time. So, let's get into the story of the Raccoons. Well, it starts off with how it goes like this. This starts with Bert Raccoon and the married couple named Ralph and Melissa Raccoon, which those are Bert's roommate and friends in the evergreen forest. The trio's efforts against the industrial forces of the greedy aardvark millionaire named Cyril Sneer, who, of course, he always hates the forest, though, because all Cyril Sneer wants is to tear down the evergreen forest, so he wants money. So, just so he wants to become rich. That's why. And that's the reason about this as well, huh? Who always tries to destroy the forest for wealth. So when the Raccoons save their forest from Cyril's schemes, with the help of Schaefer, who is an old English sheepdog, and Cedric Sneer, who is basically a college student, and he's the son of Cyril Sneer, and his girlfriend named Sophia Tutu, because Sophia Tutu is in love with Cedric Sneer, that's why. And she also looks a little bit like Katy Perry, that's why. If I get what I mean, though. As the series goes on, Cyril Sneer became an anti-hero, but this time he's only more responsible in his priorities and business practices. However, it takes in the setting of the evergreen forest, where the forest ranger and his children reside unaware of their surroundings, took place out of sight. So as the series goes on, we have Ralph Raccoon's relatives, including his young nephew and niece named Bentley Raccoon, who is basically an insecure child technology prodigy. Of course, Bentley Raccoon is one of Ralph Raccoon's relatives, that's why. And there is Lisa Raccoon, who is a statuesque basketball-playing athletic teenager who became an understated love interest for Bert Raccoon himself in that one as well. Well, you all know what the story in the Raccoons is all about, though, because like most of other cartoons from the 80s in general, though, because I have realized I wanted to come across for this accordingly, just to come to think of it as well, because we just got a whole slew of this as well. Okay, so, however, as far as I know, particularly, however, this series premiered on July in 1985 as well, when it was originally broadcasted on Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, which is particularly in Canada as well. However, this was also aired on the Disney Channel in the United States of America during the 80s as well. Because this is what I like to call, it's basically of what I realized about the Raccoons, of how this series is really good as well. If you ever loved watching some cartoons that you grew up with, especially if you're watching it in the 80s, though, as well, accordingly, to the point out as well for this, of if I want to come to think of it as well, particularly, and all things comes first, though, as well, for a TV show series like this as well. However, the characters, well, we all know the characters on here. We also have an introduction to Schaefer's son, who is a Old English sheepdog puppy named Brew or something like that. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, though, because he was introduced to the series, though. However, we did see the human characters, such as the forest ranger and his children, though. You know, they were the supporting characters. They only appeared in Season 1 only. However, when Season 2 comes, though, for the production of the Raccoons, they removed the human characters from the show, so they wanted to have a whole slew of anthropomorphic animal characters. Because, the human characters are only appeared in just the specials and Season 1, if I want to come to think of it as well, accordingly. Because we have an introduction with some, characters that are new as well, accordingly as well. As far as I know how this goes, there's a whole bunch of them as well. Unlike Season 1, Season 2 starts to how it progresses, though, as well as the remaining seasons until the season finale, or with a series finale, which on the final season in the 90s on there. This is particularly a priority thing of how this series, how it goes as well. And beyond this as well, because I just wanted to know, particularly, well, the reason is that as well. Unlike none other cartoon out there in general, though, as well, because, yeah, this just basically explains why, accordingly, which I could remember for all this as well. Hold on, if I could research on there as well, because, hold on, sorry about that. Yeah, because, yeah, this just basically explains for the characters on here. And didn't you know that in Season 1 of the Raccoons, Melissa Raccoon was only voiced by Linda Feige, or if I cannot pronounce her last name. She only voiced Melissa Raccoon in Season 1. However, in Seasons 2 until Season 5, which is the final season of the Raccoons cartoon series, she was voiced by Susan Roman, who is the voice of Angel in Rock and Rule, which is the 1983 animated film from Nelvana in that one. Because if you could take a note on that for this one as well, and because Susan Roman also voiced many of her voice in many works in the majority as well. However, we also got other characters on here for what the Raccoons had a lot to do for this. However, we do have to come across for this accordingly. We had a whole slew of characters on here. Yeah. Which I didn't even know about this. Knowing that for a character like Bentley Raccoon was voiced by Noam Zylberman, if I cannot pronounce, yeah. He only appeared in episodes 16 to, like, episode 54 on here. However, he was later voiced by Stuart Stone, only on episodes 55 to episode 60. Stuart Stone is who is known for the 2001 cult film Donnie Darko, for those who do not know as well, in case you're wondering as well. And we have some other characters such as George and Nicole Raccoon in that one. George Raccoon is voiced by Dan Hennessy, who is the voice as Chief Quimby in the Inspector Gadget cartoon series, Braveheart Lion in the Care Bears series, and I think he also voiced Dizzy, who is the drummer from Nelvana's first feature film, Rock and Rule. If you could take note on this as well. For anyone who has seen the film Rock and Rule, could take note on this movie also as well. If I'm not mistaken as well. Nicole Raccoon is voiced by Elizabeth Hanna, who is known for many of her works, such as the 1998 Silver Surfer series as well. If I'm not to mention. And I think she also voiced Miss Shannon in the 1989 Beetlejuice cartoon series also. For anyone who has seen the Beetlejuice cartoon series, could take all notes on this also as well, if I could remember. I could all things to remember all at once as well. If you ever want to figure out a way as well. I think she also voices Susie Mirage Young from the cartoon series called Cops, Central Organization Police Squadron, or something like that as well. Yeah, because this could be the reason of how I wanted to come across for that. Yeah. So, that's basically the reason of this on there as well, because... However, Lisa Raccoon is voiced by Lisa Lougheed or something. Yeah, if I cannot pronounce her last name. Who is a voice actress, and she's also the singer for the ending theme song, Run With Us, which is the theme to the Raccoons cartoon series that you hear at seasons 2 to the final season as well, because the song gotten popularity as well. So that's pretty much for the characters. However, the music, well, the music on there is just your typical, like, 80s new wave atmospheric music on there as well, because this is what I like to call, because what can you do? It's an 80s cartoon show. It's the 80s as well, from what I think of it as well. And yet, all this this comes first as well. Yet another kind of things to come by for this at all this. Why it comes first. As if I could, far as I remember on there as well. However, the music is very good though. Didn't you know that the song "Run With Us" had which is the theme from the Raccoons cartoon series, also got a music video by Lisa Ruffhead herself. Lisa Raccoon herself. However, the song "Run With Us" was performed by Steve Lunt, but it's only on season 1. However, the song "Run With Us" by Lisa Ruffhead, yeah, if I could pronounce her name, though. And also, for anyone who has seen Jason Eisner's film Hobo with a Shotgun, the song "Run With Us" by Lisa Ruffhead is the ending theme song for the 1980s series like The Raccoons. It was written by Kevin Gillis, John Stroll, and Steve Lunt. So, it appears on Lisa Ruffhead's album Evergreen Nights on here. If I could think if you could ever find there as well. And however, this song was included at the end of the film Hobo with a Shotgun, starring Rutger Hauer. Yeah, which we'll get to that one as well. However, according to the music on here, yeah, because according to the film Hobo with a Shotgun, this was the song that you hear at the end of The Raccoons, especially if you ever watch the cartoon, though. If you haven't seen it or not, then it's particularly of how you're missing out if you ever been watching 80s cartoons, if you ever grew up in the 80s as well. However, this series only lasted about 5 seasons, 60 episodes, from July 4th, 1985 until August 28th, 1992, which is the 90s. This is your typical example from the mid-80s to like the early 90s type of example when it comes to, like, if you ever want to talk about cartoons like this as well. Like I say, The Raccoons is one of them as well. Like a lot of them in general, though, as well, because this explains to how this shows over the fact as well. The music is very good, though, because the song "Run With Us" has gotten more delivering the goods as well, especially for what The Raccoons has a lot to do for it on the music. The animation's very unique and still way better animation than terrible cartoons nowadays has as well. I mean, this is what you call a perfect, good 80s cartoon with good, better animation as well. Instead of other terrible cartoons that, like, we got nowadays as well. Of course, that's how I got to my curiosity about the Raccoons cartoon series, that's why. Yeah. The sound is pretty good, though it depends on how this happens as well. However, particularly of how I wanted to come by on this as well. Just so you could have a little thing for this as well. If you ever want to tune in for to watch a series like this as well. Yeah. As far as what I could think for all this. Yeah. So, it could be all things comes at once at all first as well. By all means, is that if people would know for this, if I could trust to ever want to figure out how this is the typical, because they haven't made good cartoons like this than they were used to, though. Yeah, the production is done by Gillis Wiseman Productions as well. Yeah, because however, it was on the Disney Channel as well, accordingly as well, if I could come by on this. During the 80s as well. If you ever want to tune in to think. And however, yeah, because I think this was done by Hinton Animation Studios, which is in Canada as well. The music was composed by Kevin Gillis and John Stroll in that one. Because that is particularly of how I wanted to come by for like old 80s cartoons like the Raccoons as well. Of course, you all think for this as well of how I wanted to come by to this as well accordingly, just so I can give you a little run thing down on these as well of how I wanted to come by to that. If you ever loved watching cartoons from the 80s or 90s in general for the whole majority of this. And this could be all things at once as well. If this, because this was something new though. However, this series gotten popular when it was aired on the Disney Channel in the 90s, or the 80s as well. Now, if this was Darkwing Duck, then I would have been compelled for the television, if you could ever want to have it on full blast. If you ever want to see a show, if you ever remember catching it on the Disney Channel, if you were seeing it in either the 80s or 90s. But it's the Raccoons, particularly. However, the Raccoons also was released on VHS in the US. Some of them were released by Good Times Home Entertainment, and especially some episodes and some specials on here as well. However, it was released on DVD in the US, but only 2 seasons, but where it's missing some episodes on here. And it was no longer in print for the Region 1 DVD released by Morningstar Entertainment in Canada. And it's a collector's items these days, and it's almost going to cost you a fortune if you ever want to buy something as well, out of print these days. We do got a Region 2 DVDs of the first 2 seasons of the Raccoons on DVD. Seasons 3 or 4 and 5 never got a DVD release from Morningstar Entertainment either, because it might have got axed or canceled, which is thereabouts as well. Fabulous Films Entertainment never released the last 3 remaining seasons of the Raccoons, which completes the entire series on there as well. although I do own this in Region 2, hopefully I can binge watch this on my portable DVD player anytime soon, though, as well, because I have a thing for this as well. For overall, though, the Raccoons is particularly a must-watch cartoon from the 80s, because it was originally aired on CBC television in Canada as well, because CBC is in Canada. Of course, the Raccoons is actually a Canadian cartoon, which a lot of the Canadian audience can recognize this cartoon from their childhood during the 80s. Although the Raccoons has started as a series of specials, and then we got a series, though, in case if you could all remember for this as well. My score for the Raccoons cartoon series? I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 for the series, because this series is getting a lot more good, and this delivers the goods for this as well, as if I could remember for that as well. And to this conclusion on here, if you want to binge watch a series like the Raccoons, get it. I highly recommend. If you have it on DVD like I have right here, because I have it in Region 2, by the way, as well. So that's going to be it for my TV show review on this 80s Canadian cartoon series, The Raccoons, for today's TV show review. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's what I'm going to say for this one. Looking back last year on Christmas Eve, I always look back on doing my review on the Christmas Raccoons, which is the holiday special, because that Christmas special introduced me to the TV show, which is the Raccoons, because one of these days I will get the ball going if I could review either the Raccoons on Ice or the Raccoons and the Lost Star as well, which I will get to at one point as well. Hope subscribe for more content. Be sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button, especially if you're new to my channel, because if you've ever been watching the channel, I've been literally getting into more upcoming videos, like DVD Blu-ray shopping videos, DVD Blu-ray collection videos, and I'm also getting into like Blu-ray though. And also be sure to smack the like button if you enjoy this video. Hit the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified also as well for more latest updates, just to keep you notified as well. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, especially if you're new to my channel as a newcomer, for more videos though, because I had to do this one. Let me know your thoughts by leaving in the comments, right in the comments section below, if you like as well. Be sure to check out my Anime Planet or Analyst at your leisure at this point, because this is the first time I want to do this. And that's all I have what I got for today, because, wow, this is the first time I have never done a review like this until now. This is Rurouni K95 saying thank you for watching my review on the Raccoons. I'm glad you liked it. I hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Be sure to stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great day. This is Rurouni K95 signing off. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you soon for more upcoming videos that I got are on the way. Take care.